All right, everybody. Welcome back to whatever the hell this is with Hawk. I'm your host, Hawk. This is the content that my brother and I make for our YouTube channel. I hope everybody enjoys it. Thank you for joining tonight. And tonight we have got to talk about Matt Gaetz. And normally I record these episodes in my office where we have all of the fancy video and lighting equipment, but tonight it's Monday, November 18th. It's cold outside. I have a wonderful fire going, and so I'm going to record a couple of these by the fire, and we'll just see how this goes, because I didn't want to be in the other room. I wanted to be in the same room as my fire. So Matt Gaetz he served 4 terms as a congressman from the state of Florida. He was recently elected to his 5th term this election cycle, but he resigned last week because the House Ethics Committee was getting ready to release their report on an investigation to him relative to drug-fueled sex orgies during which he had sex with minors, teenage girls who he had allegedly trafficked over state lines and had paid for sex. So rather than have that report come out, he resigned. And once you resign, the House Ethics Committee loses jurisdiction over you, and that investigation came to a close. However, their report has been completed. And because Donald Trump has nominated him to serve as Attorney General for the United States of America, many Republicans in the House, and more importantly, many Republicans and of course all Democrats in the Senate want to see that report because the Senate is the body of our government that votes to confirm or to not confirm nominations for cabinet positions such as Attorney General of the United States. And so today, some news broke, and I guess I'll put it this way. So there are at least 3 women involved in this case who allegedly had sex with Matt Gaetz or were paid to have sex with Matt Gaetz several years ago, at least one of which was a minor at the time, a 17-year-old high school student. There is an attorney who represents 2 of those women, Joel Shepard. He represents 2 of the women who were not minors at the time. So he is obviously very familiar with the testimony that his 2 clients gave to the House Ethics Committee when they were hearing testimony earlier this year and over the course of the summer. And so some news broke today. An attorney representing 2 women who claim to have attended up to 10 drug-fueled sex parties with Matt Gaetz. That attorney is now speaking to the media about what he knows about his client's testimony. Let's look at that fire again. Isn't that just amazing? And we've got Christmas decorations up, and on PBS, I was watching a multi-part documentary about Leonardo da Vinci, and my favorite thing about that is that, like, most of the people that they're interviewing are Italian. They're speaking in Italian, so it's got subtitles, but it's just a wonderful thing hearing people who are actually Italian speaking the Italian language about Leonardo da Vinci and talking about all of these amazing things. So, but I digress. Let's see, lawyer Joel Shepard. All right, they just repeated that again. Okay, but the context that he adds is that these 5 to 10 sex parties with Matt Gaetz took place between mid-2017 and the end of 2018. So about an 18-month period that was the last 18 months of Matt Gaetz's very first term in the House of Representatives. So this dickhead runs for Congress in 2016 for Florida. He wins that election, and 6 months after he is sworn in to office, he starts having sex with teenagers at drug-fueled orgies. And of course, that's the guy that Donald Trump has picked to be his Attorney General for the United States of America, the nation's top law enforcement officer. These two witnesses reportedly further described the gatherings as group sex situations, also known as orgies, where illegal drugs were consumed and where one of the women claims to have seen Gaetz having sex with an underage girl up against a gaming table in front of other people. So I'm not sure what type of gaming table that might be, but the Justice Department had investigated Matt Gaetz concerning these allegations, which were first raised in 2020, and decided not to prosecute him. But that investigation and those claims, score another one for Merrick Garland. Biggest fucking disappointment of the Biden administration. The claims did prompt an investigation by the House Ethics Committee, which was prompted by Kevin McCarthy, who Matt Gaetz later had bounced out of the speakership after serving less than a year. But the attorney representing these two women hopes that his media appearances over the coming days will put a lot of pressure on the committee to release the report. My clients have already been through this several times, and they really, really do not want to testify again, especially on the floor of the Senate. And Senator Mark Wayne Johnson from Oklahoma has called on the House of Representatives to release the ethics report. And allegedly, according to NBC News, more than half of the Senate Republicans, including some in senior leadership positions, privately say that they don't see a path forward for former Representative Matt Gaetz to be confirmed as Attorney General. Who gives a shit what you say privately? Say it publicly and go on the record. Say it publicly and go on the record publicly. Republicans are fucking cowards, man. They're just absolute cowards. The woman who was allegedly a minor at the time is represented by an attorney named John Clune. She has never been publicly identified because she was a minor at the time. But he posted on Twitter, I'm never going to call it X, I'm always going to call it Twitter. John Clune, her attorney, posted on X that Matt Gaetz's nomination to become the nation's leading law enforcement officer, quote, is a perverse development in a truly dark series of events. We would support the House Ethics Committee immediately releasing their report. She was a high school student and there were witnesses. Gaetz, in a statement forwarded by the Trump transition team, said that these allegations are invented and that this is a false smear campaign following a 3-year criminal investigation and should be viewed with great skepticism. Yeah, Matt Gaetz should be viewed with great skepticism, but, that's me. His nomination to be Attorney General is very close to prompting a mass exodus of career attorneys and career staff at the Justice Department, which is what Donald Trump wants. That's one of the main things of Project 2025 is to bounce all of these career people out on their ass and replace everybody with people who are loyal to Donald Trump. This investigation came to light, and the allegations about Matt Gaetz came to light when the Justice Department began investigating the actions of a guy named Joel Greenberg, a tax collector in Seminole County, Florida, who turned his office into a criminal enterprise. He was Matt Gaetz's best friend. Greenberg pleaded guilty in 2021 to sex trafficking with a minor and other crimes and agreed to cooperate in the Gaetz probe. Greenberg was sentenced to 11 years in prison. In the plea deal, Greenberg said that he paid for sex acts with a minor and also introduced minors to other adult men who engaged in commercial sex acts with minors. Greenberg had a website for sugar daddies, which he ran out of the tax collector's office, to find women who were paid to have sex with him and others. prosecutors identified more than 100 financial transactions on the payment app Venmo, totaling more than $70,000 for transactions between $200 to $1,000, and found that Greenberg falsely represented that they were for school or other expenses because they were children. They were in high school. And Matt Gaetz very famously left his Venmo set to public, and he made payments to some of these women. So it's important to understand Matt Gaetz was born and raised in Florida. His dad, I can't remember how he made his money, but he's worth tens and tens and tens and tens and tens of millions of dollars. And his dad served in Florida state government. He was a member of the Florida State Senate from 2006 to 2016. His dad was Florida State Senate president from 2012 to 2014. Matt Gaetz was born in 1982. He was first elected to the Florida State House in 2010, and then he was first elected to Congress in 2016, and 6 months after being sworn in, decided he was going to start having sex with teenagers. I doubt that that's when he began having sex with teenagers, but there appears to be a bumpy road ahead for Matt Gaetz's nomination. It's going to depend on whether some of these Republicans in the Senate are going to go public with their opposition and with their objections. I hope some of them grow a pair. We will find out in the coming weeks. So stay tuned to whatever the hell this is with your host, Hawk. Have a great night, everybody. Today's Monday. The rest of the week is ahead of us. Please be safe.